yeah, once I started, I was so dedicated even when it was hard. I loved how much money I saved. I loved how much more time I had more time all of a sudden because I didn't have to work so much and pay rent and all the expenses of living. And I also had more money because I could save the money that I earned.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to meet Autumn. Hi Autumn.
Hello.
And you are in a really nice setup here.
Yes.
You've got a car and a Class C.
Yes.
So how long have you been on the road?
So it's been about 27 months now. Yeah.
Well, you got it all counted down. No
I do.
days?
I counted today. So I know it's 2 years and like 2.25 years, basically.
Okay, good, good. And so 2.25 years ago,
Yes.
why did you decide to move into become a nomad?
You know, I've always wanted to be. Ever since I was 17 years old and I learned what was required to live in society, I thought, why do people do that? And I had talked from the time I was 17 about living in a car, living in a van, living in an RV, and I got so much feedback that I was crazy. And I didn't do it until I was 38 years old, and the pandemic really provided the opportunity. So in the pandemic, all my work went remote. I already had remote internet because I lived way the heck out of town. So I figured, why not? Yeah.
So yeah, if you're going to do that, and it's always been a dream,
Yes.
That's kind of a, actually you're not alone in that. There are a lot of people like that say traveling and...
And it's been the best thing. Like, it was a dream, and there have been things that have been really hard about it, but I don't ever see myself going back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's addicting.
Yep.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Seems almost like you have a little bit of that hippie spirit from the 60s and 70s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Just
so.
kind of born with it.
Yeah. It was when I saw a VW van for the first time that I thought I could live in that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah.
So you started out in the car without the Class C.
Yes. So I have always loved tiny living, and when I realized my work was remote, my internet was remote, there was nothing stopping me, I had considered switching to a van. But I thought, if I don't just go now, I may lose the courage. And I didn't want to basically spend the time to sell my car and then end up needing to get a van. I own the car free and clear. So I was just like, let's just do it. We'll get creative. And I thought it sort of is like a teardrop, because I've looked into teardrops to have before. So I thought, well, I'll call it my little teardrop car. Yeah.
I think it's pretty hard to live in a car.
Yes.
And so how did that go for you? For how long were you in the car? Then the Class
A year and a half before the Class
Wow.
C. Yeah. And full time.
That's a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, for a car.
It was hard.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, to me, it's just really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's very hard. It was hard ergonomically because I work from the road. So doing things basically with a computer, a lot of times I'm on Zoom, so my back would start to hurt. It could get really hot. Once I adopted my dog, I adopted her basically a year into it. And I shortly thereafter,
Yeah.
like half a year after, we got the bigger rig.
Right.
So, but it's been great. Like, as hard as it's been for it to be really small, it's also been great for gas mileage. It's been great for the stealth factor. I've considered switching the car for a van, like just to travel in the van. And I may still do that eventually, but I love that this is so stealth. Nobody thinks I'm in the car.
So after about a year and a half, you decided it was just too uncomfortable to be long term.
Yeah.
But you must have by then also decided, I'm going to be doing this a long time.
Yes, yes. So even though that was my suspicion, knowing myself, I thought once I'm in, I'll never go back. I always assumed I'd probably have multiple different rigs. Right. And yeah, once I started, I was so dedicated even when it was hard. I loved how much money I saved. I loved how much more time I had more time all of a sudden because I didn't have to work so much and pay rent and all the expenses of living. And I also had more money because I could save the money that I earned. The car has had a total of 4 different builds, and I'm on an amazing build right now. I love it so much, but it's had 4 different builds. Initially, I just put a full twin-size mattress in it because I took out all the seats except the driver's seat and put a mattress that fit perfect, but that didn't allow for anything else. And I also had to get out of the car every time I needed to access anything, which posed safety concerns as well as weather. So now the build, I can maneuver around the entire car very functionally. But again, now I love it for a short-term camping.
Right.
And by short-term, I even mean a few months. Like, I wouldn't mind going across the country again, you know, for a few months at a time. But it is nice to come back to something a little more comfortable. And I found that being on the road, as much as I love it, it's also really exhausting. And I'm a counselor, and that also can pose some challenges being in between states. And so,
lots, yeah.
Yeah, so I need to be in Arizona right now since that's the main work that I'm doing. So this is a really nice setup because I have the car as a daily driver, or even if I want to get away just like to the Mogollon Rim or something, being able to take this for a weekend or a longer trip across states, but then being able to come back to my... It's funny, I have multiple names for these guys. So I call the RV my tiny home and this my teeny tiny home.
Teeny tiny home.
Or I call the RV my mansion and this my second vacation home. So
both work really well.
Yeah, because the RV feels like a mansion after having such a small space for a while.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, would it be okay if we checked out your two homes?
Yes.
Your main home and your vacation home?
Absolutely. All right, so welcome to my teeny tiny home. This is the 4th build of it. So I took out all of the seats except the driver's seat.
Right.
And here, so every inch of space is valuable in a car.
Oh, wow.
So here is my storage. I call this my closet, my pantry. I've got like pots and pans over here. This also serves as my dog Chloe, her bed. Before that, this was just a fantastic, I actually had this raised a bit before Chloe, and would use it almost as like a desk. Or I would stand here and chop vegetables and sort of used it as a table. Mm-hmm. My bed is so comfortable. In fact, I'd have to say, because living in a car is unconventional and it can be really uncomfortable without basically some modifications. Having a comfortable bed, I would say, is one of the most important things.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one of my builds, the bed was too narrow. And so even though the build looked amazing, just 2 months of not sleeping well really negatively impacted my health. This is 5-inch memory foam. 5-inch memory foam from Joann's Fabric. It's super affordable, and you can just cut it up with a turkey cutter in order to get it the exact size. And my bed is sort of a funky size so that I could save as much space as possible. That's where I put my shoes at night. And over here, I have the double-decker storage with these pretty boxes. So I've got some of Chloe's stuff, bowls, coffee making stuff. I have my camp stove underneath here.
The back seat's out.
Yes.
But from back here, it is the trunk.
Yes, I will show you, because that is a significant part of this being fun and comfortable and functional to be in. Initially, for almost the first year, the trunk was really hard. Living in a sedan is really hard. Even a hatchback would have been better. However, I recently made this, and this might be one of my favorite modifications. So this is a swivel table. I made it with PVC pipe. And the reason I made that is when I am sitting in the back, I can just twist this toward me. I can turn this little hook, take the box out. I've got things like just things to eat, food, pantry stuff. And then I have these little hooks here so it doesn't move around. This also serves, so I will cook back here. This is really strange, but this is so helpful to have in the trunk, because this is my bed. So my feet go here. And during the daytime, if I need to fill water, it's so nice to have a solid surface to put something on.
Right.
In fact, one of the things that surprised me the most is how important it is to have flat surface space. I didn't know that when I first started in the car, and I just learned as much flat surface space as you can create in your build, the better. So a lot of times I'll cook. I have a little TV tray that I put here. I'll put my camp stove, and then I'll chop here and just cook here, get my ingredients. So this is a really nice, very functional setup. Right now I have 7 gallons of water. Sometimes I'll bring more. This is my shower and gym bag. Oh, and then at night, so that my feet don't hit this, I just put it right up here. Twist this to the side so it's not in my feet's way. So it's really nice. By the way, swivel tables cost several $100s. This only cost me probably $45 to make. Right. So that's another thing that I was really inspired with your channel is I think it's fun to be frugal. And why not when there's the opportunity to do so?
And so if people want to follow you and learn more about you and ask questions and get to know you, how can they do that?
We have a YouTube channel. It's Autumn and Chloe. Chloe's my dog. Yeah. So definitely give us a follow.
Good, yeah.
This is my Reflectix. It's custom made for this back window. One of my most commonly asked questions for car living is how do you go to the bathroom? Right. And what do you do for window covers? So for window covers, first, I got the darkest legal tint possible, which I think is really important for privacy.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I would say one of my favorite things about upgrading to the RV was the privacy factor. There's just so much more privacy in the RV. So super dark window tint. What I did is I cut Reflectix to the exact needed size. I used black duct tape on the back. And then I ended up sewing little Velcro strips because otherwise they came off. So I sewed them, and I'll show you on the inside. It's a complete total blackout.
Oh yeah, that works super well.
And it provides some insulation as well, which is nice. So this was custom made. By the way, I did the entire car build for less than $300.
Wow.
Of materials. That didn't include the really expensive items like the power stations, which I needed for work. This is my fridge. It's an Alpicool 19-quart fridge. And over here, I have my major power station. It's a Jackery 1500. And that really helps me not only power the fridge, but make sure I have enough power for my work on the road. And then I have my small little power station. This is my pretty paper towel holder, which never knew how vital these would be, but this is one of the most important things I never go without. Pretty toilet paper holder. In fact, I'll show you this little custom build I made for the Jackery. This has been really helpful. So first, when I'm charging it with solar, all I have to do is roll down the window and charge. I don't have to bring the whole thing out. And it's so heavy, so that's really convenient. But if I do want to bring it out, this will come right off and I can just pull it out. It's very heavy.
Yeah, you don't move, just throw them around.
No, I threw out my back once picking it up. These are my window screens. So to keep the bugs out, in addition to counseling, I would do a lot of writing. I would write articles and stuff from the road. And so if I wanted to be inside and writing, but it was too hot and too buggy outside, these worked great. And then the good old driver's seat, captain's chair. Just simple but wonderful. My first two builds, I could not go from the driver's seat to the back with ease. And that was really important to me to switch that up. So now I can, again, it's ergonomically like not the most comfortable thing, but I'm able to jump in the back as needed, which it really helps me with the stealth factor. So to cover the windshield, I just use these from Walmart. They're the pop open kind. These I got off Amazon for only like $20, and they have a little magnet, and you can put them up from the outside, which is the easiest way to do it.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm in BLM land, this is great, especially with the tint. It's a total blackout. But if you are stealth camping and you don't want anybody to see you, you can just hook the magnets on to the inside.
Well, Autumn, thank you so much for sharing your life with us.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to you. Your videos taught me so much practically, but more than anything, almost philosophically, existentially, like your videos helped give me the courage to do this.
So folks, if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you on the next video. See you then.